You know the face, you know the voice, you know the aura, and you definitely know the line.
I am Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr. was born in New York City in 1965, and acting wasn't exactly a strange career choice for him.
If money is evil, then that building is hell. This is the most obnoxious group of money.
His father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker, so Robert grew up surrounded by movies, cameras, and people who lived in the world of entertainment. He even appeared in one of his father's films when he was just a child.
Tornado hits. The lights go out, the wind is blowing.
But growing up in Hollywood didn't automatically make him successful. It simply gave him an early introduction to the world he would eventually have to conquer. And by the 1980s, he was starting to make a name for himself. By the mid-1980s, Downey was appearing in films and television.
Check me out, I'm gonna make a serious comeback. Great!
He even became part of the cast of Saturday Night Live for the 1985
Spider-Man told me!
to 86 season.
No thanks to you!
But his real breakthrough came with films such as Less Than Zero. And this is where something became obvious. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't just another young actor, he had something.
Take that off, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
You couldn't really ignore him. And then came the role that changed the way people looked at him, Charlie Chaplin. In 1992, Downey played the legendary silent film star in Chaplin. And suddenly, the funny young actor wasn't just funny anymore. He was serious, he was dramatic.
Let me direct the next one. But behind the screen.
His performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Robert Downey Jr. had officially arrived.
Al Pacino in Scent of Women.
And this is the part where the story should have been simple. Young actor, huge talent, Oscar nomination, more great movies. But Robert Downey Jr.'s life was becoming increasingly complicated. His struggles with drugs and alcohol were becoming impossible to separate from his career, and eventually the consequences became impossible to ignore.
And he reaches out to a psychiatrist for help.
I said, Robert, I believe that you had bipolar disorder.
In 1996, Downey was arrested after police stopped him for speeding and found drugs and an unloaded handgun in his vehicle.
Which is too sad, such a bright...
And this wasn't going to be a single bad chapter. It became a cycle. Rehab, work, relapse, arrest, rehab again. Hollywood had another reason to stop trusting him. The strange thing about Robert Downey Jr.'s story is that the talent never disappeared, even while his personal life was falling apart.
You know, sometimes I think, at least I think, that I'm good at kind of coming in.
He could still walk onto a set and deliver an incredible performance, but talent can only take you so far. Eventually, the industry needs to believe that you will actually show up. And Robert's reputation was becoming a bigger problem than his talent could overcome. He was arrested again in 2000 and then again in 2001.
However, both sides say they're ardently working together.
That second arrest became a major turning point. At the time, Downey was starring on Ally McBeal. The show had become a major part of his comeback. He had even won a Golden Globe for his performance.
I would like to thank David Kelly for creating such a great character.
For a moment, it looked like Robert Downey Jr. was getting his career back. Then, he was arrested again, and within hours, he was fired from Ally McBeal. The producers had to rewrite and reshoot episodes without him. This wasn't just another bad headline. This was Hollywood telling him, we can't keep doing this. The problem wasn't whether he was talented. Everybody knew he was talented. The problem was whether he could be trusted, and that is a much harder thing to fix.
By the time I knew anything about it,
Downey began rebuilding his life, and one of the people who helped open a door for him was Mel Gibson. Gibson had worked with Downey before and continued to support him when many people in Hollywood had stopped taking the risk.
I basically do whatever he says, because it's his company, it's his movie, he's
Then came a series of smaller opportunities. Films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang began reminding audiences of something they had forgotten. Robert Downey Jr. could still act, really act. And then Marvel came knocking. The year was 2008. Marvel Studios was preparing to release a movie about a character who wasn't exactly considered the safest bet in Hollywood, Iron Man.
My sanity.
And the actor they wanted to play Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. On paper, it was almost unbelievable. A studio was putting one of its biggest bets on an actor whose career had once looked almost finished.
That's like, I could cry watching Chud.
The role wasn't just another acting job, it was almost like someone had taken pieces of Robert's own public image and turned them into a superhero. But there was still one massive question: could he pull it off? Then May 2008 arrived, Iron Man was released, and suddenly Robert Downey Jr. wasn't just back, he was everywhere.
I mean, it's hard for me to not answer that question.
Tony Stark became a global phenomenon. The movie launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe and transformed Downey into one of the biggest stars in the world. He didn't play Tony Stark like a traditional superhero, he played him like Robert Downey Jr.
I'd like to show you firsthand.
Everything came together and the audience loved it. And then something much bigger happened. Tony Stark transcended being merely a character. He became a part of pop culture. Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, and finally Endgame. And that is the story of Robert Downey Jr., the man behind Iron Man.